Hello, hey everybody. Rocker here, and here we are with of course, the Thursday of a good old Thursday afternoon for you know evening, or just a bit of a morning for anyone. Of course, this was gonna be originally on 30 p.m., but been delayed to 5 to 6. Due to some busy stuff going on RL, and just things that are more important than just doing what most creators would do, and that's doing some stuff that needs to be done before the day, uh, and then you can do the rest of the things that we all can do. But of course, how y'all doing? Who are here? If you're all doing well, welcome and handy dandy, of course. Um, mm, Now, for a little context for anyone, of course, that y'all know, want to know, I've been job hunting for quite a while, and I've been trying to get a job ever since a good amount of years, and sometimes there's been times I just stopped, sometimes there's just been times I did not, and yeah, it's been fun in a way. And now, well, at the end of the day, I finally, you know, got a job, and it's about time. And so, I don't know what you might call it. You might see some big changes. Don't know when or how this is gonna come to effect yet, but we'll just wait and see and find out, see how it goes, and see. Again, turns out, it's as well for, the future, um, and just hopefully some, things to come. If you're all knowing what was that, of course, on the soundtrack, that is the upcoming future of season 5 that y'all know, and probably were tuning in from that. If you were, of course, and if so, yeah, that is one glimpse of what the racing soundtracks are gonna be for the first startup. Over time, you're gonna mostly hear also 3 others soon. Right now, that's just one of them out of all of them. Of course, you most likely gonna hear like all of them that are gonna be used. But right now, that one is gonna be just used to time if it's like a podcast or if it's someone else. But yeah, I digress. You see soon enough that it's gonna be interesting music because we're going back to the 90s, 80s, no 2000s, 5-ish, sadly. But hey, 80s and 90s were really good back then. It always has been. Let's see everything else before I get to the main party and prize. There has been some other things in my back of my mind of viral stuff that I think you guys might need to know. I will be doing the same. I think we might be doing the same schedule. That will be discussed a little more further or later on. But we're on. I am most likely, unfortunately, gonna say this if I get my job. I am either gonna have these races mostly on the night times. Depending what my job's gonna be on the times, we'll just have to wait and see exactly what I'm gonna do and um, what timing is gonna be available, what things, and etc. Now, depending what's gonna really happen on the future, or on the future, that's mainly, I believe, like the booming situation. I might be all hearing sometimes. Most likely been invited to a band, and I'm gonna take the chance of it. And it's one of Dragon's friends. Not gonna mention it, but I'm not gonna mention the band or anything. I mean, it is a band. It's not gonna mention the band and its name and everything else, etc. But most likely gonna be a band soon. We don't know when exactly this is gonna go on, progress forward. Same goes to Shade, of course, and it's gonna be pretty interesting at the end of the day. But it's gonna be a doozy schedule wise when it comes to other things and some of the other stuff that I've been dealing with and a lot of other things. You already know if y'all heard a while ago, or maybe remember. I have the Army Man project that the trailer or the plot, the pilot hasn't been released nor hasn't been progressed. That's due to just the lack of timing and the things that other things are more important and just other um uh and then let's see, the other thing is important, and then just the scheduling of how I've done things and then housing all that, and mainly the building of space of the where I'm at right now. Had like the backyard has like a big hill. Now there is certain areas that are good, but there's also like just mainly the hill that I think you will guys see in a moment. It has a good cool moment of hill wise, but it's just very difficult when it comes to like actual hill. If it was like some hills from like I think you all know like stop motions and everything else, all that, then you would understand how it works for stop motions and for like Darmans or just anything for like that you use for stop motions for hills, and it's like having dirt and then building them like your own hills or mountains and all that. And, yeah, but the good news is I'm still slowly continuing, feeling wise, or just you know I'm slowly but surely continuing. If you want to know what the latest of that is, I'll give you a quick hint of it. It is about the outpost on one of the episodes. I would say episode between one or two, or just the end of the plot of plot line, and that is episode O, or 0 for y'all. But I will address more of these later on the road. But at the meantime, of course, I am the host of the Golden Rush of the NR2003 series, and of course, I have me partner, Chafin 9000, the co-host himself, with us today. We might have some other guests here as well soon enough, if anyone will join.
Yep. As I'm over here, because, co host, obviously, we are going to be having discussions about who would take Rookie of the Year and future talks about Season 5. Now, for starters, about Season 5, this is going to be my season where I take over and call the shots. And boy, oh boy, I got some good plans to give y'all some great entertainment.
Yeah, but as of course the main host, it is gonna be still a bit, it's still gonna be as it's gonna expect it to be, and that's main host is gonna mainly be kind of like it's gonna be a little flip flop up in a way, but mainly yeah, the co-host is gonna take a lot more on the let's see, it's more like gonna be like he's gonna be more on the comedy side, etc. And just he's most likely gonna probably do the back row. Of course, I will be the front row of doing the top 16 or top 20 or 16 drivers, depending on the time it goes by. And he'll be most he will also comes to like to the playoff track and the first race to the last and to the last track. He will be the one doing it. Or actually, no, I'll be on the first one on the Daytona. But when it comes to the evens, he will be to the evens. That means it comes to second to all the way to the last race, and that is, I believe, the 30th. If I believe, if not, if it is not, I'll probably switch my last position to the 29th race, and that is the second to last playoff, and then he gets the 30th to the last one, and like how I did it for Roadrunner that he didn't made it. It was gonna be his, shot to do it like he did it with Pocono Knights. Spec Roadrunner, of course, one thing for certain, he might be in a few races, depending what the timing is gonna be and days. Uh, let's see. The other things as well is depending what's gonna happen on the drivers, and of course I don't think that like hosts like the hosts or anything. It's just I think when it comes to signups, and of course if y'all want to update on that, signups will happen around Tuesday, uh, next Tuesday, or as I would say, upcoming Tuesday soon, and that is gonna be whenever it happens.
It would probably be on the 11th, if I guess.
Yeah,
Excuse me 1 second.
yeah. The other thing is we're gonna be I'm trying to remember something. Uh, some other things. He's gonna be mainly the final call. I know he can't take favorites though, so he has to be balanced one side. I'll most likely be the current angling man and see what it, again what I'm gonna feel that goes to, and it's just mainly he's gonna have just a little more control in it, but I'm gonna still have still a majority of it. Um, I don't know what he's gonna do, but he's still gonna be points tracker, I believe, and he's gonna still be the points tracker, of course. But I don't know what else he's gonna be after that. So I think he's still the who's gonna be winner from each track,
Hmm.
and I think everything else is gonna be the same, unless until the next staff meeting slash sign ups and everything else etc happens on the Tuesday on that next Tuesday. But never know. Oh, yeah, it's because mainly on at that time. Yeah. See, what do we call it? If all right, no, again, and I told you earlier, again, guys, most likely gonna get a job. So depending what happens on the timing, just be aware I'm gonna be on high alert, or definitely see if I, either this next week or the week after that, to see if I, get scheduled, see what's gonna be the schedule or anything for myself.
Right. Jesus Christ, hold on.
But yeah, of course, just for context of what series we're going to the Winston Cup, 1989 to 90s, whereas straight up 90s beginning. So it's gonna be pretty, someone pretty cool to see. And one thing also is, we'll mention this is, if I'm remembering, um,
Yep.
we'll have two primary paint schemes. Two primary paint schemes will, of course, be activated. So imagine for each driver, it's gonna be about 82 cars of activated. Um, for like
Yep.
for the driver, are gonna be in that car. There will be at least one or two. Depending how long the max can be two. Minimum is gonna be one. Three, I can probably stretch that out if it's a special race. That of a special, mainly a course is gonna be a one done. Then that will be just for the third and final. You know, um, for the third and final paint scheme. But the secondary paint schemes, they can replace one of your primary ones and let it stick in there and see if it gets in there or not. If or the other way around, I would say the easier way that's going to happen for it is you remove the primary ones and pick the two secondary ones and see which one gets picked. And that one gets picked. We're going to deactivate the one that is going to be there, and then let that other one run for the next race on the week. And after that, it comes down to back to the primaries. However, I would say the wheel of faith of that is still gonna be stating that it's not gonna be change or stay. It's mainly just gonna be driver, and it's gonna be either they will stay with the primaries or bring out their secondary paint schemes, or if they're lucky enough, um, they will have their one-off appearance paint scheme. That's the third paint scheme on that Pacific track.
So when the time comes for a paint scheme change, it wouldn't be change or stay anymore. as we were doing it from the previous season. So you're
Yeah,
amping it up to a different change in a way.
yeah, and it's mainly been that has been mainly been that way, kind of way since season two and a half. Season three it introduced it, and then it went on forth to season four, and I think it had its fair share. But we're just most likely gonna put it as a more better matter in a way.
Hmm. I can see that. Honestly, that's somewhat of a good idea. So that means we might have to make ourselves a new wheel for that matter.
Yeah, only one new wheel. We're gonna most likely have to update the number wheel. Well, not the number wheel, but it's just the driver. But it's gonna be just the numbers instead of who's in there.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna see how it goes, and just it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, what's the things you want to address right now?
Well, the most important thing is I already picked my first spot. No one's taken the number three. Why? Because I'm a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. That's why.
Yeah,
And if I'm
um,
lucky enough to keep it after season five, I'll take it.
yeah. Now, if of course Mr. Kyle puts second thoughts for a moment, then there will be we'll most likely see what of course see what Kylo will do. Of course, he has been the three for 2 seasons. We'll see if he will of course go for let's see, letting it having it in the first place as Corian plan and for this two they discussed, or if if Kylo wants to do another one, or if he wants to have something similar in a way, and just we'll see what Kylo overall picks, or if he has maybe an argument or something to he wants in a bit of return or whatever he can think of.
Well, one thing I will tell you for sure, if he has to change it to a different number but still want to be in the three family, he could pick the 33.
Yeah, there's like in the three, like when it comes to like a three, he can have the 13 if there's an 03 impossible. Um, there might be the 13, there might be the 23, the 33, the 31, 32. No, not 31, but the 31, the 33. Any of the 30s, marks on that, and then in the 43 if it's of kind unavailable. If Cameron doesn't want that 43 anymore. Um,
Yep. Which there is something that's going on, but we're not going into full details. We're trying to take care of what's going on.
yeah, we're slowly but surely trying to figure out if the drivers want to stay or not. But we're slowly but surely trying to figure it out.
Hmm. And we're having thoughts of adding it into a new rule of the server to basically enable more safety and more drama-free stuff going on. But we're having debates if we should continue on with it or not. So within the meantime, this new rule idea of mine is still put on standby for the meantime. Just waiting for the approval for the host himself, the one that's hosting the stream.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a matter of when and what, but we'll see if you know if it keeps going or not, and we don't see, anything about it or anything like it, then we'll just have to, wait and see. And, you know, just, what
So
do you think?
here's my idea. Whenever there's something seriously going on, we would temporarily try to put them into a different area and see if we could get some answers from them. But if we don't, then I think it's not to put them inside the roster.
Yeah, and just either put them in, like, just either, put them to, uh, try to put them at least, how can I put it? Uh, try to remember.
What's a word that I want to put it this way? I wouldn't call it like a ban. It'll be a solitary confinement temporarily.
I think it's like, well, I think when we all know, like, if they don't want to be a driver overall, they'll most likely just be like the spectators or whatever. And
Yeah, but if they have connection with any sort of drama from people that are
other
banned
people,
from this,
yeah, yeah, from other
then
people,
we will
that's
have no choice but to give them the boot.
yeah, it's gonna be either that or it's either gonna be something like that, or they can either solve it peacefully on their own terms, and then if they really want to be in this, then of course they can come back when that is finally settled and done.
But if it's not going to be settled and done, then just like how certain people are when they violate the rules. First time, it's going to be a warning. Second time, maybe a temporary kick for depending on how severe it is. But the third time, you're banned. It's like baseball. You
That's
only
very
get
true.
three chances for a good home run.
And it's just gonna be, it's just gonna be one of those things of, just can't let it slide or anything.
Yep.
This is just what I got here, of
This
course.
is the 89 to 1991.
This is what the feel of 90s, where it's giving the vibe of 90s look right now.
Yep. As you can see right here, folks, it looks magnificent. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah. This right here, of course, specifically though, this is the 1998, 1997 to 98, or 1998 to 99, if you want to be specifically for y'all. But I guess if you want to know exactly, this might be a hint for the season 6, but this is probably just for guys on the 90s specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing for certain on one of the moderators of Runner, that I think he has some good advice and some good criticism from scene 4. And here he
Mm-hmm.
said, Ed, here's a question in for season 4. Who do you think should be the rookie of the on the volume poll server right now? And this was his pick, of course, for Runner, and that was his opinion, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing when it comes to season 4 in general, yes, it's, what do you think of season 4? Runner said it was alright. I would say, in his opinion, needs a little more crashing. Thinking about how. that's a fair point. And then after that, remember, is again, clean racing is key, but think about how it needs more excitement and entertainment if let the cars wrecking a little more. And after that, I say so if they're in the bumper or bumper to bumper, after the time with the races. And he said pretty much. I mean, yeah, I agree. We can't have third four or the third of the fourth of the field gone. But I kind of like to see the cars being more aggressive. To me, I
Yep.
said had yeah, fair one on that, but season five hopefully is going to be better. This is season four, and he says I hope like season three was entertaining because it was unexpected, and that is actually true. That like half of the races in season three, I think season three kind of over. Definitely would say half of them. I definitely agree with Roadrunner. There is it was half of it was very unexpected. Like out of nowhere when you saw I would say the best first example is when you saw the first opening Daytona 500 of in season three, and you saw Great Lake up and over out of nowhere, up to the catch fence, and a big one right in the triangle, just like how it happened to
Mm-hmm.
2016 or 15
Mm-hmm.
of the
It was
Red
before.
Lab from Austin Dillon, and it was originally that Denny Hamlin got by someone, and then Denny Hamlin hit I believe hit Austin Dillon in the inside uh in the inside of the on his car and put so much force. I don't know how exactly it made it flip, but it made it flip unless he hit like the front tire and it went up in the air, and that's how it went flipping. And
Wait,
and
was it the year that Jeff Gordon was still racing before he retired in 2016?
yeah, it was that
Okay,
year
so
where Jeff Gordon didn't was not retired, or it was going to be the year he was going to retire.
and
Compared to
I
the races.
think Earnhardt Jr. was present there as well.
Yeah, and it was the one. Of course, he won down in it.
Yeah, yeah, when he was racing for the '88 team.
Yeah, but Hendrick. But yeah, yeah, once again, like how Renner said, season three had some unpredictable moments, like Daytona, Talladega, especially Texas World. That was just insane. Um, Definitely some of the not road courses. Road courses was kind of like a hit. They're like either going to be a hit or a miss. Um, but definitely like some of the speedways, especially some of the short tracks, like Thompsonville, Speedway, and especially North Carolina. North Carolina of all things, that was like the most unexpected thing I ever seen in season three until we had to like kind of go back to the default one and kind of ruin it, but it still made it unpredictable because of what the '70s were, and it was honestly crazy and insane.
Oh yeah. And I will tell you this, the 90s tracks that we're going to do over here for season 5, you're going to love these surprise picks I have.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome. Of course, we're all confirming that the one of the main tracks that's gonna be a new one here is Le Mans. And Le Mans, of course, is one of the famous road courses in history, and we're gonna see that replacing good poor NASCAR famous Sonoma, and see that in action. Because we all know Watkins Glen is kind of superior over Sonoma when it comes to NR2003, unless you know how to properly make Sonoma better, but we'll see in season 6 for Sonoma if it's really
Oh,
going to be redeemed.
my German Shepherd's disagreeing. He says Sonoma is better than Watkins Glen. Listen to him. Oh, really? Why is that? Oh, is it because you don't like the three? Well, too bad. I'm a Dale Earnhardt fan. What a fan are you? Oh, you're a Bill Elliott fan. Are you upset what happened back in '87? Oh, really? Yes, you think Dale Earnhardt cheated on there? You think he didn't successfully pass? You really think he didn't? What makes you say that? Anyways, moving on.
But yeah, that was like what he would really think, and then the rest I just tell him like right here in the end is what I said here in the end of that conversation was we will do a lot of improvements and doing a lot of tests soon and see if it can make it good. And after that, I agree with, of course, what happens to season 3. And of course, everything else is going to be on the 90s, 89 to 89 to 90, straight up 90 of the Winston Cup mod. We're going to be on that. Of course, you all know I told you before, and we'll tell you once again signups won't happen until next Tuesday. It was going to happen originally the last Tuesday of here, but it was way too busy this week, sadly. The whole week, really. Until Thursday.
Yep.
Thursday is the only real day that I am going to be free. I am most likely going to be spending a night either 1 or 2 days with my other family and possibly getting some filming going that, of course, I think Shane might remember. And some of y'all might remember as well, and that is the ongoing project of the Army Men. And yes, that hasn't gone on my window or anything, unlike, poor Leo's World Dimension that is slowly fading away my ideas, sadly. Unlike that, the Army Men, I am gonna most likely film a base for either just a intro or the introduction for episode 1 or the end of season not season the end of the pilot episode. Now the pilot episode is not gonna be that hill that I film. It's gonna be mainly that one is mainly a recon battle on one of the episodes. I know it's gonna be a bit bad looking, but it is gonna show in the pilot in the radio, one of the radios that the guys are gonna have. Just bear in mind of that. But of course, I think later on today, I'm also gonna try to get drinking. I'm gonna try to get some of the characters that should be filmed because I am gonna most likely and it's most big possibility I'm gonna film there. If I'm gonna film there, it's gonna be a quick go what should we call it meeting. I don't know if we have the guys in it. We're mostly going to kind of like just regroup and just make the guy remake some of the guys and maybe get more accurate for the guys. But that's just the update of what's going to happen in the next few days. Of course, Monday, I don't know what's going to happen there. But Tuesday, of course, and then on the next week, it's going to be the signups for for all the drivers if they're going to change or stay to that number, or of course, either
Leave.
retire. Yeah, leave or aka retire to be a spectator.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have the role as retired driver and go to the spectator/fan role instead as well.
Mm-hmm. So as of right now, we are still currently off season. I mean, season 4, what a wild blast. That was some good racing at the final race.
Hmm. Even
And I
though
will
that
say this for sure, for season 5, we're still having Coca Cola.
no, yeah, that one's. I don't think there's no and there's no way heck in the future that I don't think that track is gonna be gone anytime soon unless there's like so many good tracks where we have to sacrifice to uh, like one to some tracks that are gonna be picked in the future, and I don't think that's gonna happen just yet, but it's a slight possibility it's gonna happen soon in this season, in on the off season of for season 5 of it.
Dude, I heard that through the Great Wall of China. You
Dog.
almost sounded like you literally just shart yourself. And if you wonder who I'm talking to one of my dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that
But
too.
yeah,
It picked up a little bit. Went, "Arr."
when you're in a Zoom call class meeting and then you see your name light up after you try to rip one.
Arr. Of course, as in the description below, you can ask us, me, Shade, or both of us questions, of course, and show it and see if you all want have answers or anything, or anything in mind that you want, or that specifically is in topic of the series or NASCAR, or you can ask us, off topic of what anything is interested right now, of course.
Yep.
So, yeah, here we go with the main thing now.
The
Rookie
main
of the
topic
year.
right now, Rookie of the Year. I honestly say about the poll results was very close when we started doing it. It was a tie between the '03 and the '27. Sadly, the 6 didn't have any votes, probably due to lack of performance and being part of the phases of the Black Flags. And yeah, it was like an interesting debate between who should take Rookie of the Year. Roadrunner's point of view at the '03 was great. I honestly would agree on most things about the '03. My take on this, and this is probably a close one. I was thinking about both, but I only can pick one. And the one that I will pick was the '27. Now, you're probably asking, why the '27 when the '03 was better? And yes, the '03 was better in most categories, but you gotta realize that the '03 didn't have a really good performance during the playoffs. And we seen the '27 showing a lot of good stuff, especially during the end of the playoffs, despite not being a playoff contender. And he finished in ninth in regular points. And keep that in mind. Not only he beaten the 25, but he also beaten the 23. He's beaten even the 66, who was almost going to be a playoff contender, but just couldn't get the right stuff to do it.
Mm-hmm. And the
And
reason for
not
the
to
argument
mention,
to it, the reason why of that argument in there that he put it in, is because well, let's go all the way to Zuckerberg, all the way to Homestead, and the bear argument of the he has there, of course, is well, the first one right now, of course, that outperform as a gear is Zuckerberg. The first one, that was his first good run. But California, however, that's where I almost overshine him. But back to back top fives for for access on that one. But Daytona 500 again at the night. This is where Isaac finally shined and proved his worth again. And fortunately, 24 got in a wreck, slightly in a wreck, but still finish up, but in the mid 20s. Mid 20s at least. Then we went to North Carolina, and, well, Roxas and everything else kind of got screwed. But he got a wreck, or either had some issues. And he got the 34th. However, Isaac, oh boy, he got back-to-back top fives, and he was in a hot roll streak. Went to the fifth race here, and, well, once again, I think this would kind of shut the argument down in some way. And Roxas won and won the pole on Wakewood Dirt Track, and that was a good like uprise that he needed for the playoffs. And Isaac did perform just only 12 positions down, and that was 13th, but that was a pretty outperformance there. Darlington, however, this is where, of course, Isaac outperformed him once again. And, well, this one was a bad DNF, really screwed his momentum from the Wakewood. And then we go to Martinsville. He did rebound back. And then, well, Isaac, he's not a short track guy, so he ended up 32nd, mainly on the Martinsvilles. Pocono, however, this one was a bit dicey through. And, I think it was maybe almost both of them that got wrecked, but luckily enough, Isaac barely squeezed in there and got out of the situation. And for Roxas, however, of the 03, he believe he got in one or got some damage, I believe. I'm trying to see if I can find him here.
Now, I will remember this is an honorable mention in Texas World when we were doing the regular season for season 4.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the big reasons why I had him as my vote of Rookie of the Year. Not only because of the silly shenanigans that he and I were doing, but he did really good performance, finishing in 4th. Meanwhile, for me, taking the win by a close margin against the 2 and the 4.
Yeah, and speaking of another second there, he had on Talladega, he was just short to finally get a victory, but not too far behind at the top 10 in the end, overperforming his teammate or, friendly rival, and that was R of Axel, and that was 11th, 10th on the teammates there. So that was a bit of a tight battle on there. Homestead, however, right in the end, was the final nail of it, and that one wreck that damaged the 030 kind of screwed him over, and that one last, and then the other wreck made him DNF. Well, the others kind of screwed him, and, well, Isaac in the end just outperformed once again with third overall at Homestead on the final race. So when it comes to playoffs, Isaac was slightly more consistent than Roxas. Roxas, however, was either the most would get his most like good moment shots of dominance and actually get it rolling where it matters most, or he would be either somewhat mediocre or try to get momentum going, but just in the next one it just falls short and can't, fall through. But half of the races, however, that the 03 of Roxas has done, he has done, I believe, in the first half and midway through. He did, I believe, no, I would say somewhat in the first half, and then in the end of the second half, he was consistent. The rest of the midway in it was kind of like hit or miss for him. Of it was this inconsistency, somewhat like how FaZe and a few amount of other drivers did, and it was like a bit of a similar situation how Kane Lemon struggled in somewhat, and Bobby, for example.
Hmm.
Now, Crimcore, he's somewhat of argument. I mean, he did technically kind of won Zuckerberg, and that was only the understatement. Minus, he also won Bristol, and Bristol one was actually, let's see, he won the Zuckerberg. No, I don't think he did. Unless he did, then most likely that would be his second win. And it was either Dover or Bristol. I think it's Bristol. It's Bristol that he won that one, and he got a good performance out of Isaac, and he almost kind of tied the wins on that season with Rux. It's actually he did tie him there, so that was like the only fair argument. However, I think when it comes to like just the only thing that really drags him down to the list where can't really won't put a vote to him is the penalties he had, and penalty two specifically on the day I think it was either I believe California maybe it was one of the early races of the regular season, and that hit into a number two phase, and then another one he not accidentally, but he kind of purposely wrecked someone. He most likely wrecked someone, made him to phase three, and he unfortunately did it again somewhere in the playoffs, getting him into phase four, almost making him not too well, not be in the race. He's luckily enough he finished off 30, of course. Now, of course, I would say this. So this also goes to the same with Isaac. He was the first one that got penalized is in the regular season. And that was the first race of the season. However, he didn't got too much in trouble, but there was moments he almost did it. Now, the 03, there was only about 2 or 3 assistants. One of them was Coca-Cola, but it was no call, and it was mainly clean, mainly because Ace was out of control, lost control of the truck. But 2 others were almost there, but it was just an accident overall, fortunately, on the wrecks. So, penalty
Mhm.
wise, it is very close. But poor six, of course, it's just not going to be enough for him to be in that much of a conversation because it pulls him too back. If he was at least phase two or three, maybe at least like Viper and 18 was, then I would say he would kind of be in the conversation and be in a better position and still has some more points, and he'll probably outperform somebody else in the
Maybe.
points overall. Because he finished overall 22nd. I bet you would probably he finished maybe 20th over Toadette and Ace, the veterans.
Yeah.
If he didn't
Mhm.
had penalty 3 or 4, because 3 you get 10 points out, and of course 20 points is out for your I believe yeah, for fourth is out. And for everybody else, of course, you do not, unfortunately, race if you're in phase 5. And it will cost you to stay in an automatic last place.
Yep.
But yeah, on the position wise, however, is pretty dang close. 6th place for Yo3 and 8th place for the 27. But I would say kind of a very close margin. 830 and then 892. You think that's not close, but in reality, it is.
Mhm.
Of course, Krimkur, he almost had 760, 698. 698. Just two off if he didn't had again. Bet you would have like 700 and something if he didn't had the penalties. Mainly penalty in phase 3 and 4. But yeah, the other argument in the way that kind of puts them in that position is the top fives and the top tens. Doesn't matter if mainly on the wins because it looks like it's a tie and that's neck and neck. But the top five and the top ten does mainly matter. But however, top fives has been tied with Roxas and Kate Isaac. They're eight eight apiece of top fives. Now, I will mention, of course, every other rookie of their debut of what their top five of the top tens also had that made it. Kumi with one at least. Followed by that, you had let's see here, who's another rookie that made through for some top 10, top fives. Crim Core with four, not too close. That's four off, of course, with the eight that the others had. So that's everybody else with the top fives. No one else really got top fives there, it seems. Well, a lot of them, there's a lot of top tens. So top 10 here. Roxas Sabrento had six, and that goes to the same with Isaac. So they are straight up neck and neck with top tens and top fives. That is pretty ironic.
Mm-hmm.
Now with further see Ricky's here. We got about let's see here. Paulo, he had about three. Good, I would say that's a nice, alright start. Concor with two. It's better than others, tied with others. Singa Zakumi, that's two, seems. Ace of Spades with only one done.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, not many other rookies really made a top tens, and it's kind of surprising. I would say, I think no, Mark had six, but I think he didn't make the cut in with yeah with top fives, but he did pull off a good amount of negative times with top tens with six. That's tied with well, not tied with Crimcore, but it looks like it's tied with Isaac and Roxas Rita.
Yeah.
And that does seem everybody else. Yeah, so that is almost about every rookie. Unfortunately, uh, the rookie of let's see, uh, Tord. Let's see. I'm trying to look for the other rookies here.
And poor Tord of all rookies, he just when he made his debut, he won in a dirt track of all things,
Right?
and then he just got washed.
Yeah. Well, I would say he just picked the wrong dang team. That team was downright
Doo
awful.
doo.
Downright stinking awful. Let's see here. Cruncor is a rookie. Mark was a rookie at that time. Paulo, not yeah, Roxas. The Speeds was there. There's one of them. Toward again. I think that is all the rookies, of course. I'm gonna go check on rules real quick just to make double check sure. That is all rookie
Which rules?
roles, not rules.
Oh, rolls. Gotcha.
Yeah, that is all six of them and Isaac as the last. Yeah, we are gonna have one thing we'll inform as well is if we're gonna have at least either two, three, or I would say two or three rookies. It's gonna be less than half we had last time, but we'll just wait and see. Right now, there is about two or one opening spot that you know for the others that are gonna have.
Hmm.
Three or four, maybe,
Oh,
depending on what
don't mind me as look at there's some tracks I can add in some new ideas, and we'll discuss with it. Not only just you and I, but we'll have Roadrunner into the mix.
Yeah, because I know you once probably had some hits there as well.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, I think Isaac does have a good some good advantages, but there is just some other advantages that Roxas overall 03 has. So it's just overall, I think what people really think in the end of the day, me and Ruminer again, and I think overall almost went to 900, but he come up short and did have some good season, a few that did outperform others, but did not clutch in the end. But overall, by Grettis, he did had a good debut. Did outperform the winning areas. So that is the one I would say slight big advantages, and that's he had 2 wins over Isaac, and that's not just the only one. That goes the same to Crimcore, but again, that Phase 4 penalty is mainly the big downside for him.
Hmm. Which makes sense.
Yeah, it's just overall, I think it's just goes down to one or two, you know, 27 and 03, 7 days left of what it's gonna be to make KE in KE the returning driver and the returning veteran now gonna be a veteran driver, and that is Kaiser the champion by the way picked the 27. Saying it was the shade of the co-host. He picked the 27.
Hmm.
There has been no votes yet, of course, at the current time being in, but we'll see if anyone else wants to take a vote at it. Of course, the drivers themselves cannot vote themselves. Unfortunately, that is one of the main rules. Is you can't vote yourself, or you can't vote for the other. Because if you're picked specifically, you have to let the others vote it out. Man, those are your candidates of the rookie of the year. It's gonna be go on until 7 days left, remaining about 6 to go. Of days. Rookie of the year, the candidate of the rookie candidates of the rookie of the year. That of course again in here of the three that are mentioned once again in last time for now, and that is again U3 of Roxas Warriata, and the 6 of Crimcore, the 27th K-pop aka Isaac. Those are the three candidates that are chasing down that Rookie of the Year. Alright, so now then, let's bring out the talks of bringing this up again as when are we gonna have the second in series, aka the second roster coming up?
Hmm. That would be interesting. we can have an we can have enough people into there. It would be really great.
Yep. The minimum we need right now is gonna be, I would say, either 20 to 30 drivers because that'll be probably the lowest start. We did start our series of season one technically as like 20 or higher, one if I remember correctly. So, because it was like kind of like a bit with us of how it would work. But yeah, we're gonna see how that goes.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, one thing that I was gonna mention as well is Shade is also gonna be doing the intro at the beginning and introducing me instead of me saying hello everybody, aka blah blah blah. It's gonna be Shade instead doing the first words and bringing me in afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, if we get at least about like if because I know at least two rookies are gonna be in the main like the main series like how Cup works, for example. Golden Rush is gonna be like the big league, like the first main one of the main rosters. The second roster is either gonna be mainly focused on the trucks or the Xfinity or something interesting and unique. And that's either we go to maybe the Indy cars or we go to maybe some of the things that really get used on NR2003, and that's those cars, the IROC. Remember the IROC? But instead of IROC, it's like uh, what is it? The like those it's like those cars you see um like the Toyotas, the Nissans, the Audis, all that that does all mainly the road coursing races.
Hmm.
But
I
instead
don't
of those,
remember.
but instead of those, it will be just mainly like ovals, but probably some little more road course to mix it up in there.
Hmm.
But of course, the main area of the Golden Rush is either gonna be where it goes and where it goes anywhere. Or, like I don't know if the second roster is gonna stay specifically on the trucks or they're gonna be in the trucks and in the city is cars, aka the Bush, for example, ones the Bush ones,
Yep.
and yeah, we don't know if we're gonna see that at either or others, but it is gonna be the highest thing to figure out to see if that is gonna happen or not. And we don't know the other part of it specifically, but that is mainly just the top a bit of it in the uh, main thing of the result, which it would be. But we don't know if it's gonna be like just mainly a lot of the trucks and then swapping back to like the city cars. If we go back to like trucks again in Pacific Year, or if we go to if we go to like the main roster goes to indies and whatever, and they were trying to do indies, then they either go to trucks or in a city, and that's just depending what the one of the co-host picks, like if because the co-host one of the co-hosts there's only one, it's still over to be another. one soon. But the co-host, the other co-host, or the one of the co-hosts is gonna be mainly focusing the the results and the um. Actually, I'll probably still keep the results just to keep the pressure off, but the co-host would still, do most of the factors, but they would most likely do the points, the systems, everything else. See what the mainly would be on terms of mainly on the grade E of what that league is gonna be, and just like how it works right now with this one of the NR2003 Series, or is still called in the category the term of NR2003. It's gonna call probably the Golden NR2003 Golden Rush. Um, but let's see. Everything else for the NR2003 Golden Rush category of every things that happens. This is where, of course, everything is reminded for everything happens for the for everything of the system and all the rules and you know the rules, the penalties, rules, and the points, bonus points, all the stuff that works, and lastly, of course, the laps of counted. And of course, for the categories of this mainly, and as for the NR2003 Golden Rush series itself, not the tournament of NR2003 anymore.
Hmm.
If it was a tournament of NR2003, it would honestly be an online league that will be planned in the future, by the way. But that will be another time. Another time to be in the future in this server and later on live in it. But for the penalty rules, of course, for this series in general, just for recap and everyone does still want to know. For rule number one, of course, if you accidentally or get reckless, angry, anything like that, you get a warning, and that is penalty number one that most of the drivers got, or half, one third, one fourth, or for the 1/4 for the drivers got, or a split is about.
Hmm.
Number two, of course, is if you just personally wreck someone, you get your first and that passes the first penalty system of the warning. Instead of that, you get 5 points away from the results, or if you're lower than that, you are gonna get minus points out, taken away from the actual points overall.
Hmm.
And then number three is the following up of if you personally wreck someone twice, or if it's considered, the same, not back to back. I think it's just if you do it again in a specific race again, or any race really, it is going to cost you, instead of 5, it would be 10. So it's an addition of 5. Number 4 is going to be another addition of 5 each, total of 10 but instead of 10 is now 20. And if you do more than A's from that, if you do twice instead of 3. If you do more than twice, it's up to 2 times of Percy wrecking someone recklessly or anything. Then you are going to be penalized for the 4th time. And then all the above of that, of course, the penalty combined with that, and as the final penalty after that result finish, you are going to be not competing for the next race until you are clear from that race ends, and you will be out of the penalty list overall. And of course, if you ask us or anything, if you want anything different, just let us know. And that's
Hmm.
how it works on the penalties. And of course, we'll give a little recap of who got on the penalty list. 2 to 6 to 9, 10, 12, 27, 29, 38, 46, 48, and 88. The 2 accidentally wrecked someone. Parkour purposely wrecked. He purposely like 2 times aims. Yeah, almost 3 times. 9 accidentally wrecked someone. The 10 accidentally wrecks. No, he actually purposely wrecked. If y'all know exactly how it happened in the recap, and I remember well. Shade got his when Shade was getting up to the track. The 10 decided to be Heidi Day. Let me see that 80 and whack. Just hooked him, and that's why it made Shade out of Atlanta. Mr. White, 8 of the 12, had a warning of accidentally wrecked someone. I think it was 2 to 27 with anger out of the 48, and that singles to the 48, and I guess the 48 was trying to repay the favor. Viper did a warning, and then actually no, she purposely wrecked someone on Dover, and then she purposely wrecked again on someone. ATM, he was on a warning, and then he accidentally wrecked, and then he purposely wrecked someone 2 times. Nazo accidentally wrecked someone, and then finally, but not least, but that was the recent one, and that is Shade accidentally wrecking his poor teammate the not the 12, the 12 of his old time teammate 8 of Mr. White that just cannot catch a break ever.
Unfortunately. But yeah, I sent you a big list of some cool tracks that I found from a website. I think it's the similar one that you look up for a different website
Yeah,
that you use to download tracks and shit.
yeah. Weebs, some whatever it's called.
Yeah. So I found myself a really huge list that I think this is probably going to work best.
Yeah.
I did finally found that Japanese racetrack that I finally found that I was looking for many days,
Yeah.
and I wanted to add it as a special feature treat for the playoffs.
Yeah. Most likely
This
the
is
only.
this is going to be a good take, and hear me out. In one of the playoffs, probably in the final race, or maybe almost at the end of the final race, Suzuka.
Mm-hmm. That would
It
be a
is a
feature.
big road course, and during the day, back in the 90s or somewhere in the 80s, Earnhardt and Earnhardt Jr. were racing against each other down on that racetrack when Japan and NASCAR were in good relations and actually hosting NASCAR tracks down at Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that would actually be a really good treat and wrap it up in a good old 90s fashion
Yeah.
for all those that really love the 90s. So if y'all really love seeing it as the final race, you all are welcome.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, point system, of course, we're here for. I think we'll always stay as this since it's the most simplest one, but we might change it soon. We'll talk about it, see how it flows. But right now, of course, it is 43 all the way to 2. And of course, first place to 10 to 14th goes to 43, 42, 40, 1, 40, and that is, well, the podium, of course, gets 43, 42, 41. And right down on the pipe, just missed third. It's 40 points. Then you got 5th to 14th is 39, 38, 37, 36, 35th, 34th, 36, 32, 31, and 30 points. Then you go to 15th to 24th, goes to 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, and 20 points. 25 to 34. And this is positions, mind you. 24th all the way to 34th. 22, yeah, 34th is 19, 18, 17, 16, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. And that is 10 points. And then the last rows of it to, of course, 35th to last place, 42nd. Is, of course, uh, 35th, 36th, 37th, 38th, 39th, 40th, 41st, and 42nd. And that is, of course, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 points. That's how the point system works for every race. Bonus points that everyone really likes to try to get the grabs to get, and that is getting the fastest lap. And that is, or as we say it, you would either lead in the fastest lap or getting the fastest lap, wherever you want to say it. And then afterwards, winning the pole or getting the pole. And 5 points for fastest lap, and winning the pole is 3 points. Bonus points, of course, will most likely be more added. There will be more added features of bonus points, and we will most likely kind of maybe reduce is little tiny. If not, we'll see how it goes working out. Oh, what bonus points we're gonna add next, just to make it a bit more spicy and more entertaining. Of which drivers have this other bonus point or these other bonus points.
Okay, I may have an idea.
What is your
You
idea,
ready for this?
David?
So, with another idea of mine, for say, whoever would lead, like the amount of laps, would earn at least 1 point.
So whoever lead the most laps, or is it whoever led the first lap?
Whoever leads the most. Okay, so scratch that idea. I'm trying to brew up another one. So the one that would lead the most laps, I would say give them about 4 or maybe 2 points extra
I think me and
as a
the
bonus points.
yeah, the most laps I would say will be in between, so it'll be probably 4. Because fastest lap, it's gonna be the high. I would say it's still gonna be the highest because you want to be that fast car. You want to be that fast truck. You want to be that fast overall of on that and dominate that time board or and feel dominant and try to get that higher bidder or and take that advantage. And depending on the position, you really need it desperately if you have a bad result or if you or if you want to gain a bigger advantage. That's gonna be, of course, um, like if you're in 30, like if you're in the 30s, um, like point range, that's like 14th all the way to like first place. You have a great advantage, and maybe 15th overall if you get lucky enough, depending on the map. Of course, when it comes to the labs, that is the last system, I believe. One of the many systems for the series, and that is right now, currently, at the moment, this was most likely will change for the laps. Super Speedway is still 80 laps, more or less. Speedways 95 more or less. Short tracks 150 more or less. I mean, it's gonna be more or less depending. Uh, Road course 40 laps, less or more. Or it's gonna be more or less. But I think road courses are gonna be just less for the next season because we're definitely gonna go like the all in of like 50% of what their you know mile how much miles of the length of the track is gonna be and how the turn and speeds the amount of the straightaway and then just the just the apexes and then the turn and the S's and you know the curbs and it's gonna be interesting how long average is gonna be for just not just Watkins Glen, but Le Mans and the other few ones and Riverside as well. Riverside ain't going nowhere. That's one of the main also fan favorites. I think that's has good camera angles, interesting turns, and just overall cool. Uh, it's just overall great track. And plus, there is some unexpected wild crashes. Let's point that out. But yeah, well, I will list out half of these tracks in just a moment. I'm going to be temporary, but uh, I will, what should I call it? I will, what should I call it? I will mention half of the list that he is mentioned here of what tracks will most likely come into play, or tracks will most likely not make the cut, but might come in the future. But in the meantime, I will be right back, y'all. She might ask questions for you, or he might inform other things. But in the meantime, again, as I said, I'll be right back.
Yep, just make this a little miniature Q&A where I may ask questions or you ask questions. You can obviously get answers, obviously. But in the meantime, there is going to be some slight changes for the 5th season, as good old Roadrunner and Leo are throwing suggestions at me since I'm taking over. But yeah, we hope that the changes will make this really, really interesting. And if it does not, we'll probably revert back to the old point system. We're not going to go with the stages. We can all agree to that because the stages ruined NASCAR. And that's one of the reasons why we lost Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon because of the stages. One of the NASCAR drivers, forgot what his name was, warned NASCAR about that, and they didn't listen. And at one time, when they removed the stages, I was happy. And when they brought it back, I got very angry. About as angry as one who doesn't like to pay her taxes. Pay your 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 taxes. But yeah, if you know me from other servers, I would usually post silly stuff about my dogs. Why? Because I'm a dog lover, obviously. If you don't like dogs, that's just you. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. Um, but yeah, everything's going to be really, really interesting of how I want to have this whole layout of the track schedule and see what the signups look like. And most important thing that I will say, the paint design choices. This is going to be really interesting to discuss and see what type of customization that we would do. Now, for a little short recap that I would do, this is how we would do it. We would keep it in the current era of the trucks, or maybe a little flashback paint schemes for the honor of the previous gen cars or gen trucks. or whatever the case may be, for say. Maybe we could slide in some future ones, but only those that are indeed accurate and look really good to the type of setup that we have for the current roster that we're trying to make right now. So in the meantime, the signups are on standby until further notice, until we get everything all set up ready to go. I've already made my early pick because I've let the one who raced for number 3 for God knows how long, ever since season 3 all the way up to the end of season 4. I asked, if I could take the number 3, and he said no for the season 4. I said okay, I'll stick with the 88. At first, I didn't think I was going to do well with the 88, but until I see my performance well, besides a lot of minor inconsistencies with the Menards, I wanted to stick with Xbox at the last race.
But looks like
But
your expectations overall, it kind of proved you wrong. That it showed what it did in the kind of the first half, in a way.
indeed, expect the unexpected is what people would say. But yeah, I gave them the short recap about how the paint ruling system would be in play. Told them that it's going to be in this current generation, as we're showing over here, or it could be a flashback to pay homage to one legendary racers or really, really cool paint schemes, like how we did with the 72 of Kaiser. We gave him an homage from an old 72 truck car from the 1970s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we may see some bit of homages from past stuff and some really cool ideas of maybe slightly a little bit future cars with future paint schemes, but it won't be far off from the futuristic range. Say like example, since we're doing 1989 to 1980 or 1991, we can squeeze in some stuff that are from 1992, 1993, a little bit of a stretch in 1994, a rare chance for 95, obviously. But nevertheless, if it's a really good idea, if it's approved by the host himself, because he actually knows how to make custom paints. However, now we have been going through a little conundrum. We need to figure out how we do it for the current cars that we're trying to set up for the 5th season. We gotta look through the files and just go ahead and do some paint. It's not as easy as it looks, people, believe me. I tried doing art myself on good old sketches. Yeah, I have handwriting of a pre-K-er. But my writing's actually gone a far way, so I usually do stuff digitally rather than physically. But if I have to do it physically, I will give it a shot. I mean,
Yeah.
I've tried everything I can to be an artist in my own way. I just can't develop that talent yet.
Yeah. It takes a good development time.
And it's a whole lot of trial and error, which I can understand the trial and error process, but when it comes to art, my mind is just not able to take it.
Just that's the brain.
It's and then all of a sudden you just hear cartoon fart noise, brain aneurysm mode. But anyway, it's like but nevertheless, I let Leo take care of the paint schemes since he's more of a NASCAR experienced fanatic than I am. The only reason why I know about NASCAR is because of my grandfather watching sports. He would watch every single sport, even if it's like the least popular sport. It's either him watching sports or watching the Weather Channel or some old TV shows that are from his era.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew up in the 1950s. That's when he was a young adult.
And that's where it all started, by the way, everyone, for NASCAR.
NASCAR. Actually, it started in 1949, and it wasn't really a big sport until the
Fifties.
1950s
Yep, that's where it really shined. I mean, or started to really shine. Beginning.
when it reached to its first peak. It was in the 70s. Then the second one was in its 80s. Then the third best highest peak was the 90s to early 2000s before Dale Earnhardt passed away at the final lap during Daytona.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the top top of the mountain of the peak of all of it was yeah the 90s all the way to 2000 ends until the funness of the unforgivable moment and that happened that that crushed a lot of hardcore fans and just I would say everybody else in general that was
Yeah.
a fan of in and out of Earnhardt Senior, whereas
Hmm.
Dale Earnhardt Senior, as you might know, yeah, he
Hmm.
won that one wreck at Daytona 2001, February something. I can't remember the day, but February something.
It was somewhere in February 20th, if I were to guess correctly.
Yeah, somewhere around the 20th. And yeah,
No, it was February 18th is when he passed away.
hmm yeah, at that time it happened and right there, and it still had one last peak in 2000s to 2010s without Earnhardt, but not as as the 90s to not as like the 80s and then not as the 90s and all the way to the 2000s, but definitely kind of surpasses in some measure on the 70s as the one last peak. Everything else went downhill after mid 2000s, where 2005, 2015 to I would say really to 16, 2016 to 16 really backfired, and it really started to backfire more and more over time to 17, 18, and then just keep getting worse and worse, and here we are now with the 2020 era with it, and it's slightly kind of improving here and there, but we haven't seen what it should really be, how it was in the roots.
Hmm.
It's been not not the best, not the best anymore. Heck, even the Final Four thing. I mean, the one thing I'll give for the Final Four or thing is finally people can pick what track exactly it should be, where there's a vote which track it should be instead of this thing in Phoenix. Homestead was actually a nice track to let the championship be determined there, at least. But Phoenix was just such one-sided, predictable moment of who would get it.
Hmm. But yeah, no one, and I will say this, no one can drive as good as Dale Earnhardt.
Mm-hmm. I will show you guys something, of course, that y'all see those like welcome to the golden rush of the Daytona 500, or how like the only to the Rockingham 305. We are considering
Hmm.
of making somewhat of our own of doing those of welcome to like low ooze 400. It's not gonna be like actual 400. It's not gonna be 400 laps or anything like that. It's gonna be like going to the track name, like going to the track itself of name from the main sponsor of the track.
Right.
For example, if it was like this right here, going to the Pepsi 400, if y'all remember that track with Pepsi logo right
Mm-hmm.
there. Or went
Yep.
to where it'll be like went to the Amazon or the just the Microsoft blah 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 the EA any of those like things or went to Tide just something that it's most likely going to be a thing for this coming forward of the season 5. I think it should be pretty well in perspective and definitely would improve the thumbnails a little more. Add in like the title of on top of the which may call it we make leader make the like the Daytona 500 or grab the logo of it or just make the logo of ourselves and have that logo of it from from trying to remember for the track overall and just for example if you were seeing like one of these let me show you for example if y'all remember these right here that I did for the thumbnails you would see this and if there's like open space you would see right here like you would see like either the Ford 350 or the Sega 200 or the Aaron's
We'll
499.
we'll come up with some cool ideas about how we would name this, racing event.
Instead of just calling it like onto the onto Darlington Speedway blah blah because it does feel like it's just missing that one thing and that has been going on for about 4 seasons total. Now to make it a little more easier for a title, of course, it's gonna be called NR2003 Golden ish S5. I mean season 5, and
Mhm.
of and it'll be of instead of you know space between. It's like not space, but like not like the period or
Mhm.
anything, but you know what I'm talking about, y'all. And that's yeah, it'll be like the golden rush moment to the interest rate and golden rush of the Daytona 500 International Speedway. That'll be like the whole title of it, and that's how it's gonna work, of course. And it would be easy to be like that for it. So yeah,
I apologize if you hear the background. It's my dogs.
mm-hmm. Alright, so here we go with half of the list. I'm not going to mention all of them, but I'll mention a good amount of them. So let's go for to the P's here. Actually, we'll stop right at the S's, and then we'll start. Actually, we'll stop right where the P's, and then we're going to skip. Let's see. Actually, we'll stop where the L is, and then skip the ones over there because we don't want to mention too much. I mentioned maybe the ones I might skip though. So of course we're gonna start off here on these list of the future tracks that might or might not come into play. The Atlanta fall of '97. You see where or from that we got Birmingham, Birmingham, the '90s, early '90s Bristol, both not day and night. And it's most likely gonna come back if it's well deserved to do. California '97, and then Lowe's. If that's of course we don't want to go back to Texas, where because Lowe's is Texas. Of course, the Lemonons of night, but we're not going to the nights. The Zen or to, since 1948 to '89. Most likely we might go back there. We might go there. Darlington '95. We'll try that if it works. Followed by that, we got the Daytona '90s, like 90, and then nighttime to the '98. Like that's the only nighttime. Then we'll go to a Detroit one if possible. Dover '90, one or '90. From in Speedway Dirt is interesting. Heartland of NASCAR 1999 conversion of Heartland Park. Might try that. Hutchins Island. Might go back to my home track of Las Vegas of '96 if it's even possible. So if it's a better one or not, hopefully. Louisville, Martinsville '95. If not, we're not gonna do that one. Just kind of being the 2000 track if as like an emergency or any of the fault ones, of course. Memphis, Tennessee, the one we have introduced in this last season, though season 4 recently, and that one was pretty good and interesting to watch. Seeing them trying to get that inside battle, but the outside is just like that superior line. That was really good, intense battles. Michigan, Miami, it will be interesting. Michigan in '95. The Milwaukee '90s would be a good one. Hopefully, everything doesn't go too bad though. New Nashville, and then London is of course New London, New England London of '90. Phoenix Fifth '97. I think we have it. We have Poconos, and I think they're really good. Let's see. San Fe Speedway. We'll see if that one comes into play. Shears Point. Chabot 980s. Suzuki, of course, that is going to return into play for the playoffs. We already have the Talladegs. I think we showed it many times before. While it's going with the '90s, I think it's without the intersection, and that is a full on, straight away, the full on like straight it through, and then it's just the long turn. Toronto would be interesting. The Vancouver, and then Wallace Glen '90s again in 1971 to '91. That is without the intersection once again. And I mentioned not all, but that is a good amount of half of the list of you might expect to be on, or unfortunately not be on, but might be on season 6 as future in the future to come to play.
Yep. And I gotta say, I'm coming up with some real good ideas, not only for my season, but also for your season once my season is done.
Hmm.
And then once after the sixth season is done, Roadrunner will take care of the seventh, I take care of the eighth, and you take care of the ninth.
Yeah. Now, if there was
Eh,
one more push person that was in the high um in the high expectation was really interested with us, like how Roadrunner was in the first place since season two. Um, and we get an opportunity. We are of course open for one more guy that wants to be a high A moderator. More like how I could say this a the officiation, or I don't know what exactly, but call it like the officiations, or the high moderators. We'll think of an idea soon, but um, in the meantime, if there was one more high one like Roadrunner, or anything like that, um, they won't even like kind of put it even as like who want to pick the series of the mod and etc. in the specific year and all that, the set, the mod, etc. And we'll see how it goes from that point. If anyone wants to be like the big part of it, how again Roadrunner, or, or since the season 1 to season 2 at the beginning, we were looking for like a huge amount of drivers at that time. Um, the only ones that really see if they were actually paying attention, the only like potential guys I really see it is let's see, Kenji in some matter, but Bobby, he's a high chance if he really wants to, and Kane Lemon, because they are they're NASCAR fans and they know what exactly. Um, if Great Lake was still here, would most I would possibly maybe give him a opportunity, but I don't see any others unless they were actually very more interested to it and see what they would figure and play. But at the meantime, of course,
mhm.
it'll be again 6 and then 7, 8, and 9, 10. 10 will be Roadrunner at the moment, but 10 would be like if again if theoretically it would be someone like Bobby, or Draken, or that's unlikely, or Kenji, or any of those guys I mentioned before would of course be it would be picking the 10th season for the track, for the series, and most of the majority of the tracks, and well with the etc. With the main guy that's kind of taking over, or the series of the stuff and all the other things. But yeah, that's how it would theoretically work if we had one less guy.
Mhm. But yeah, we got some really interesting stuff going on for the future. Now the only thing we gotta do is just wait for the signups and how to take care of paint schemes, and most importantly, what's the scheduling gonna be like?
Mm-hmm.
It's still gonna be in the same format with 20 regular races and 10 playoff races.
And we're not so certain if we want to like extend like 25, like 5 more races. I mean, I think I remember the largest amount of like um races is that NASCAR did like officially was like 35, 36, 34. I remember
Yeah.
their official one. They put like 31, so that's like one off over Dirt to Daytona from that game. On their
Yeah.
second game, I don't know how much of
Oh,
that
oh,
that the other ones have. What?
now you give me a good idea to start off the first regular race. We going on dirt.
We're not really blah, blah, blah. If we're talking about like if we want to go for like the beginning of the start or of mainly the second track is not, then yeah, definitely that'd be cool to put it in the beginning of the first 4 or 5 tracks, the first half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in one of the beginning halves of the season 5, we should have like a dirt track to start things off. See how everything's going. Maybe, just maybe, we can continue on forth with other tracks. We want to have a good, healthy pattern instead of a repeated pattern.
Yeah, kind of had some little bit of repeated pattern that we had on the last schedule than compared to the other schedule, but it was just some that kind of came back and some that were not, there. But of course, Daytona is always going to start beginning at the number one. Um,
Yeah, of course, Daytona's going to start first because it's a tradition.
but yeah, if there was technically like 36 for us, like how the highest it was for NASCAR, we would stop at 23 or 22 on the regular season probably. Or no, it would probably 24 for the regular season, and then it would be 12 for the playoffs. That's if everyone mainly agrees, mainly the high commands here of you and I and the moderators and everybody else, and maybe hopefully maybe have a majority of drivers if agree, of course, to have a 36 run. And this is just mainly just an idea right now. It's not going to be confirmed on season 5. It's still going to be 30 either way. It's just mainly the suggestion of this wise is going to be on 36. Is again 24 regular races and 20. That's like 24 tracks. And it'll be 32. That means 21 to 32 uh, um, regular, not regular, playoff tracks, of course, for the schedule.
Hmm.
But yeah, these are the ones I would say they're most. I would say these are some. These are let's say we can confirm and most likely are going to return once again to the schedule, and that is Daytona is automatically. Coca Cola, of course, is going to stay into play. Talladega, followed at Riverside, Watkins Glen, and possibly Vernoling Super Speedway. That was honestly crazy and very unexpected.
I think we should bring it back for this season because honestly, we ain't never gonna have a track as good as that when we're not just doing an oval, but we're doing right turns, and we call it evil NASCAR track.
Right. And then
So I
plus
think a little bit of evil wouldn't hurt.
yeah. Plus it's always going to be unique and the bigger endurance of instead of usually doing your left turns, you're gonna test your limits of how long can you handle your right turns. That's what Party Wing honestly shows, and plus, it also has unique banking. Like turns 1 and 2, it has a banking, and then turn 3 and 4, it's actually like Richmond and New Hampshire. It's like really flattish, but it has like a very, very, very low banking, like in this single digit area. Straightaways, though, it looks in straightaways, they look really interesting, and it has such a wide gap of passing.
Uh-huh.
Texas roll is a possibility, depending if we're gonna go loads. Then it's not we don't Texas roll, but if we're gonna stick with the good old Texas roll once again, then there won't be no loads. California, we're most likely coming back from that because California, we miss it. We want to see it again. And most likely the last two ones is gonna be Darlington and Dover. And other ones may or may not, of course, is Homestead, Pocono, Martinsville, North Carolina, Zuckerberg, Richmond, Kansas, Charlotte Speedway, Sonoma. Of course, we already know Sonoma. Is not, but coming back. Bristol, Night. Let's see, Phoenix, Kentucky, Chicagoland, Maryland Beach, Memphis, and Atlanta. Those tracks, particularly, we're not 100% certain that they should stay or not, but the ones we did mention earlier ago, where all the rest of those, they are safe and dandy of staying on of course, the schedule. But yeah, that is what will and the ones are safe and most they're definitely returning, and then the ones may or may not again not get in the schedule or with blah, 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 or may get in the schedule, just depending what me and mainly Shade and Roadrunner think.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing for certain, for back on the top on the rookies, is it's just dead on even and almost dead on even. We don't know
Yeah.
exactly how this is gonna be. Rookie of the year. I know Freak kind of deserves it, but at the same time, you just see Isaac. He just slowly just got back and back and back in the game. And I know, again, we all know he had quote unquote bad, like just bad start and couldn't compete with half of the field was like best of the best out there. And that's like half of the field kind of were, but just couldn't have the better equipment. Then just seeing how it happened 2 season for her there on that was just how that played out in the end. And I think that's how or 27 Isaac, like, he just didn't have that much oomph to be the second rookie to get in the playoffs because it was almost about majority of the veterans and some of the drivers were not, and then some of the drivers wasn't because in the playoffs that made it was about only one returning driver, one high rise, and probably two high risers, a veteran in two, three, four, five, six, seven, and only one non-veteran driver and one rookie. That's insane. That's like most of the the playoffs was mainly just veteran drivers.
Right.
According to last season, uh, Roadrunner was a high rising guy, followed by the 22 about when was just as well. Red as a everybody was his driver, but mainly just becoming as a veterans soon. Now it's like the 30, the 43, the 48, the 80 AU, the 72 to 97, 66, and the you know the I think it was at the I think it was the 121 or something at that time, or I think no, it was 31 at that time of it's not someone speed, but it was just a different guy called Speed, or he keeps changing the name a lot, but he was I guess somewhat of an extra guy. And he was one of the rookies, and we had about one, two, three rookies in there that were pretty comparable to season four. Only one, and Isaac couldn't even make it. It at least shows how like different season three to season four was, and how just again more competitive. Like most of the drivers were, and just putting up more of a fight than last time. Because half of the dang cars that time, most of the majority, the downside of season three was like some of those cars just couldn't really compete, and it made almost third of the fourth, or you know, only third fourth of the field get a shot at it. Almost the whole field, or half of the field at this point on season four, had a good shot to make it the playoffs, just like a battle on a good shot on season two. But this is, of course, the second, and that was the the second, you know, official time of that way of 12 drivers in there, and it's gonna continue on for quite a while for it, because it's like who's gonna be the clinges of taking that good wild card spot? Who wants to take the good dominated top 10 spots? Who wants to be that lucky dog of the wild card? Who wants to be the consistency? Who wants to be the dominator? Who wants to be the main contentness of that top 10, top 5 area of the playoff spots? And that's how it mainly just works in general on, you know, the of the playoffs.
Hmm.
Plus, for tracks in general, just from their 10 gives you a better opportunity and a better performance than just, trying to even race free 100 to 500. 500 was at least a minimum you needed to do, and it was really hard to do that when it was only 20 races and only the bow points lead of Weston Cup wise. And that's why, again, like me, Ritter, and Shade at that time, and we're talking about like we all know we like that system in Winston, mainly on the Winston, but I think it's time to make it more fair and a little more interesting and entertaining, and going to wild card spot while putting of some of the what's the cup up, and a mixture of like chase of the cup and a little bit of sprint cup. That's the only part of the sprint cup is because of the wild card system.
Hmm.
Chase of the Cup is just mainly all the top 10, because the top 8 drivers is like your Chase of the Cup, or top 10 or 14, 16 drivers, if I remember back then. It used to be like 14, 16, 14, then sometimes 8. It was a bit of a mixture of left and right until they finally went to the sprint cup system of wild card spot. 12 drivers is about good even amount of drivers to get a shot of, the championship of the cup.
Yep.
something that was definitely awesome to see, but also just sad to see at the same time going away. And that's seeing our fellow driver that you'll remember and always will see.
Mr. 25.
Seeing this fellow in there and just oh man, ready to just see him gone on. And this particular was like definitely our craftsmanship of just replicating his first ride as the 25, ending as the 25. And I try to find the exact battery. I try my best to find the exact, but this was the closest. And I did some of the little sponsors and everything. I think the Budweiser was technically just an homage of his main sponsor he was on. But everything else that I did was almost damn near close to where I was. EQ course was on there, I think, I believe. And that was what it was right there. That was his first ride.
Yep.
And this, of course, the trucks have a bigger, wider span on the sides and front and everything, so it was a little difficult. But how it looks like that, just to try to match with the paint scheme of the car like that, I would say overall it was definitely one of my best last few paint schemes I ever did and tried to do. Of course, the text is not fully the same because I can't find the text to put it on there, so I had to manually, just put the text as, little plainy wise. If y'all saw there. So, you know,
Hmm.
but again, it was just like two appearances for it, so you wouldn't see it as a regular basis. It was a special homage for his last regular season ride and last playoff and last ride in general.
Hmm.
Oh man, yeah. If everyone is also the penalty system, I think for had made known, the penalty system does reset every season. Yeah, you go ahead and put some theories what season. What do you think of season 6 and 7 would be? What do you think of your
What
theory?
season 5 would be?
Yeah,
Well,
until a good majority of what you think that biggest thing that they expect and what would be the big surprise for the fellows here watching.
honestly, we're going to see a lot of close races and a lot of action. I know that for sure. Now, how I would see this, it's going to be close battles consistently, mostly in the beginning, and more importantly, in the ending of the final. There will be a very slight chance that there will be a tie for first or a tie for the cup. And the only way to settle it is over by at California, but in the good old road course down at Sonoma. With one of the drivers present, it'll be a short mini race. Winner takes it all for the tiebreaker race. And I have slight bit of future predictions. The new driver for the 3 might be able to take away the win, but it ain't going to be a landslide. It's going to be close battles. Most likely with the 5, possibly the 91. Heck, even the 9. It depends on who's the good driver to challenge the 3, because the 3 is most likely going to win. He has good chances. It's never 100%, but it's a good chance. If I were to make an estimate, I would say the 3 will win at a good 65%, or maybe 55. So, what are your predictions? Hello? Leo? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Leo? But yeah, I said my predictions. So, what are yours?
Mine, I'm back. Mine, of course, would be hopefully more aggressive, of course, as a runner, but hopefully just a little balance as well. Not too much, at least, but like a good majority of just more action pack of side by sides, bumper to bumper, as the runner said, and just some nice good amount of mini packs and maybe a big pack sometimes of the battles and just seeing more battle positions than just a bunch of single files sometimes. And I know, of course, there is gonna be that point of certain tracks gonna be, of course, single file, and there are gonna be some that you just can't have that. I'm hoping at least some of them that can make those expectations more better than just having single files and just have more than just that.
Yep. Now, a curious question for all the viewers that are watching and myself. What is your prediction of the champion of who will win in season 5?
Depending how it is right now, I would say this. I'm not saying who would be the championship, but I would say this: who would be the drivers, like who should be or definitely coming in the play. I'm taking Kaiser once again because just seeing him performing season 1, 3, and 4. Kind of his second season. That one was just kind of his slow start one that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiser's number one in the 72. Ever since he switched to that, ever since he went to the 72. Number two in the playoffs, and I'm talking about this would probably be the top 10 guys. Not talking about who would be in the wild cards though yet. Two, maybe a little bit of redemption for Owen if he can actually have the actual start you needed. Number three, redemption for Roadrunner after a very bad season from season 4. Not a downfall, but a bad season. Almost went to a mid season, but it's still a little bad season. I think he might squeeze into the top 10. Not high top 5 though. Honestly, it would be you, close margin, the top five battle or top 10 again. This will be probably the most unexpected one I'm going to put out. Draken with his biggest redemption arc, if he can pull it off. Number 6 in that top 10 in spot is the rookie Mark, the former rookie Mark, and then following that Roxas. Then Tord, and then Kenji, and then lastly for the top 10, um, if Magic Man does stay, there's been rumors if he wants to leave or not. We're not somebody's term, but it's here Magic Man as the last one, or if I return, it would be either a close merge battle of me or Goku. Wild
Interesting
card,
lineup.
wild card, erds. I pick Ruse. I'm gonna pick 5 just to make it interesting, at least. ATM, Bobby, Hero. Let's see. A White and DSV. Yeah, I didn't put Tink because I have a bad feeling he might go in that only middle range
Hmm.
because you can't always have the good rides, nor sometimes you just can't have the right equipment. Just like what happened to poor Roadrunner and a few others.
Yep, that's true.
But yeah, that is all the picks for the top 10 in my top 10 specifically, and my top 5 drivers that most likely would get that 2 wildcard spots. Wildcard spot number 1 and 2.
Right.
So I guess since you had that question, what would be yours? What would be yours?
Like for me, there's a big chance that the new driver for the three might be able to have a shot to take away that win, but it's not going to be a landslide. It's going to be a close margin. Have a feeling there might be a good redemption season for the 76 of Sonic DSV. A slight better season for the 99. Maybe a redemption season for the 46. Definitely a uprise for the Roxas, aka Chicky Chick of Toward the Pizza Man. Maybe when you come back, you might have yourself an uprise from being semi-retired. Um, could be a good chance that Atomic might finish around the top 10.
I wouldn't say retire. I'm just, technically a quote unquote released driver. If I was semi-retired, I'd be not doing as much. But anyway, continue.
Mm-hmm. Um, for the ones that'll take a wild card spot, I have a feeling that the two would barely clutch in a wild card spot. 17 would have a bad time. As for the number Roadrunner for Mr. 34, he will have an uprise. about similar to when he first appeared as a rookie for the second season. Not as good as his third season, but definitely better than the previous season where we had before started making season 5.
Mm-hmm. It's so cold. I'm a wash driver for this season.
And he's gonna keep on saying, "Are washed and fed." Oh, I wish I can have him say that and we have it as a soundboard.
I
Just say, "We're washed and fed."
think he may have said that in Bristol, but yeah, I might. You never know.
But yeah, it was an interesting finish from last season, having the tie for 39th between the '08 and the 12.
Mm-hmm. Now, a reminder, of course, White and ATM haven't been good since. White hasn't been good since season one. ATM hasn't been good since season 1 and 2.
What about Adam?
And I don't know. We'll see about him. He's still a bit new. He's coming into his third season. I mean, he debuted on his second season. I believe he's in his third and coming into the fourth. He went to the fourth. Not really a good bit he did. He is becoming an adventure diver, but it's just end of the day. I don't see that 32 pulling it off unless it actually did what it did last season in a way. Not the last season after that. That's season 3, of course. If Adam can most likely, we're talking about the 32 car, by the way, or just the 32 truck. If the 32 of Adam can muster up, what he did in season 3 mainly, and somewhat like season 2, maybe, but what he did kind of mainly on, season 3, then it's most likely I can believe Adam can maybe pull off a wild card at least, or if he doesn't make it, I bet you he'll most likely have at least an overall good season on the points and be in the top 20 or at the very lowest top 25.
Hmm. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and head off. I'm gonna go get myself something to eat before I go to sleep. I have a very long day tomorrow.
Well, I guess we don't have anything else to ask or put into the no questions here, so I might as
Yeah,
well call it a goods here on the podcast today, and we'll say goodbyes.
yep. This is the co-host, Shay59000. Stay tuned for season 5 for the great epic way to start off of me taking over this season. That being said, thank you for watching this podcast, and we hope to see you next time when we start it off.
And of course, that is Leo, the owner or the main host, and we will of course see y'all soon. We'll keep y'all up to date soon. Again, just be prepared what's gonna happen for Tuesday, next Tuesday, the sign ups, and then more will to come over all of the off season. And yeah, Just stay 8-10 overall and just be patient. And in approximately either 2 to 4 months, you will see another season coming in out of the gloom. With that being said, though, thank you all for watching, of course. Yeah, so shout out to Shane and fellas and coming in of the podcast today of the host owners and of course me and having a good time for letting you all know for the future, and we did of course our best to get everything out there as available as best as possible and was come and a little bit of history for y'all for NASCAR or for y'all. But that is everything, and yeah, it should be everything done. But once again, thank you all for watching. This is Leo K. Brookwalker. Once again, see y'all next time, and the host sign out.